Today I will show you how to install basic tools needed for C++ development on Windows, macOS and Linux. This will allow you to set up a development environment for C++ from scratch in no time. I chose to use Visual Studio Code as an editor because it is multi-platform and can be easily integrated with CMake. This way, we can create exactly the same environment on all the three platforms. Note that this video has three parts. The one that you are now seeing is an introduction common for all the three platforms. Then there are three distinct parts describing the installation. You can of course skip the platforms you are not interested in. Setting up the first project is covered in a different video. Check the link in the description. We are going to install a C++ compiler toolchain to translate our C++ code into executable files, CMake, which is a tool to help us with configuration of the compiler, and Visual Studio Code, which is a text editor that will call those tools for us. Let's start with Windows. The first thing to install is the compiler. The most commonly used compiler on Windows is Microsoft Visual Studio C++, commonly abbreviated as MSVC. To download it, go to the respective website, link is in the description, and download the installer for Visual Studio Community. The Professional and Enterprise contain more features and are not free. After it is downloaded, open the folder and run it. It will open a dialog where you can customize the installation. Check Desktop Development with C++ and it will preselect the relevant components. If you are not fighting with insufficient disk space, I recommend to simply let them all selected and click Install. The installer will download and install the selected components, which will take some time. I will now speed up the video until the installation finishes. You can now close the installer. The next step is to install CMake. Visit cmake.org, go to the download page, find Windows installer for the latest release and download it. When it is downloaded, you can run it and start the installation. After you read and agree to the license, it is very important that you select to add CMake to path environment variable, at least for the current user. The desktop icon should not be needed. You can also change the destination folder, but I would recommend to just leave the default. Then start the installation. The last thing to install is Visual Studio Code. Go to the same website as before, find Visual Studio Code, and download the Windows installer. When it is downloaded, run it and start going through it. When you get to this page, you can decide whether to create a desktop icon, whether to integrate code into Windows file menu, whether you want to register supported file types to code, and whether you want to edit to path. Neither of these is critical, so do as you like. Then confirm the installation and wait for it to complete. You can now delete the installers you downloaded. Everything is done. In the next video, I will show you how to set up a simple C++ project using the toolchain we just prepared. Thanks for watching. Now let's do the installation on macOS. I will show you the installation process on my macOS 10.15 Catalina, but it should behave the same way on newer systems. To install the compiler command line tools, open a terminal window and type xcode select --install. You will be asked to confirm the license agreement and the installation will start. It will take some time, so I will now fast forward the video to the end of it. You can now check that typing clang ++ version into terminal gives you version information. The next step is to install CMake. Visit cmake.org, go to the download page, find macOS DMG file for the latest release and download it. When it is downloaded, open it and drag CMake to Applications. You have now installed CMake, but you have to configure it for command line usage. Run CMake and choose Tools, How to install for command line use. There are 3 suggestions how to make CMake accessible from any directory. I will follow the second one, so I will open a terminal window and type the command to install symlinks to user local bin, exactly as CMake suggested. When this is done, check that typing cmake --version into the terminal window gives you CMake version information. The last thing to install is Visual Studio Code. Go to the Microsoft Download website, find Visual Studio Code and download the macOS package. Then just drag it into Applications to install it. When this is finished, you can delete the CMake installer and verify that Visual Studio Code is available in the Launchpad. If it is, everything is finished. In the next video, I will show you how to set up a simple C++ project using the toolchain we just prepared. Thanks for watching. The last platform to cover is Linux. The installation instructions for Linux will be the least specific of the 3, because it is impossible to give universally applicable guide. There are several ways of installing software on Linux, and the choice depends on your distribution and taste. Therefore, I will just show you what needs to be achieved, give you some tips, show you an example of what worked on my Ubuntu 20.04, and leave the rest to you. So what is our goal? We need to have some compiler tools ready for command line usage. To check this, open a terminal window and type in the following 4 commands. Each must give you a meaningful output. And we also need to have Visual Studio Code ready to run. Some general advice on how to get there. All distributions will have a package or packages for the compiler tools. For example, Ubuntu has a meta package called Build Essential, which will provide G++ and Make. GDB comes in a separate package called GDB. The names of the packages may be different on a different distribution, and you may need to install the tools separately. Generally, Google should give you the answer. As for CMake, it is very likely that your distribution will provide a package called CMake, and it should be enough to install it. To install Visual Studio Code, go to code.microsoft.com, find the download section and select what you like. The Snap package is probably the easiest way if you already use Snap. As an example, I will now show you how I installed everything on my Ubuntu 20.04. The first step was to install the packages Build Essential, CMake, and GDB. I will fast forward the installation. Then I downloaded the dep package from Microsoft website and installed it using dpkg. Like I said, the process may be different with your distribution. So that is all. I'm sorry not to be more specific, but there is so many ways of doing things on Linux that the only option would be to do it for every distribution separately, which I don't want to do. If you use Linux, you probably know how to get things done on your setup, so I assume you will be fine. In the next video, I will show you how to set up a simple C++ project using the toolchain we just prepared. Thanks for watching.